At the end of her first season, when she'd not received an offer, she was considered not quite damaged goods, but certainly slightly used. She was all for skipping the second season, but her aunt was determined. Deborah considered Eleanor's lack of success in the marriage mart almost a blot on her social record. No doubt Michael's earldom, and the fact that he was distantly related to Francesca's father, would have some influence on how warmly the girl was welcomed into close-knit London society. That's why he was making an appearance at this pre-season event. They would stay long enough for Michael to be seen and admired, and for her to be critically reviewed. In other words, the night was going to be ghastly. She would much rather be at home, curled up in a chair with a good book. Unfortunately, her schedule looked to be filled with a flurry of social engagements. The months until the wedding would be occupied with pre-celebrations, everything from lunches to dinner parties to balls. The wedding ceremony was expanding in size and scope with each passing day. Even Hamilton was taking a growing interest, no doubt because he was paying for it. On 3 separate occasions she'd attempted to discuss the expense with him, but he refused to address the matter with her. "It is of no consequence, my dear," he said. "You mustn't worry about it." Nor was her aunt reserved about spending money. It seemed as if the wedding was less a religious ceremony than it was a way to demonstrate the Richards' wealth. Eleanor truly didn't need all the dresses the seamstress was making. The trousseau was already occupying 3 trunks, with more ordered. The gown she was wearing tonight was a lovely creation, something that had been sent from France and altered by Mrs. Fournier. Of watered silk, it was a shade of peach that flattered her complexion and brought out the blue of her eyes. Michael would no doubt approve. Getting her aunt's nod, however, had always been more difficult. Before she descended the stairs, Deborah made her turn slowly, raise her skirts to show her matching slippers, then don her elbow-length gloves. Only then did Deborah smile. "You will do us credit, my dear. Jeremy will meet you downstairs." Even though she and Michael were an engaged couple, her aunt believed that it was necessary for them to have a proper chaperone when they attended social events. For that purpose, her cousin was pressed into service when Deborah or Hamilton couldn't attend with them. Jeremy normally obeyed Michael's every directive, being less a chaperone than simply an extra person in the carriage. If Michael attempted to do something untoward, Jeremy wouldn't lift a hand in protest. Such was the power of being an earl. Eleanor couldn't help but wonder if she'd acquire a similar ability as a countess. Would she be able to wave her hand in the air and have something instantly done? If so, it would explain why so many people believed that a title was such a great honour. She walked slowly down the curving staircase, wishing that she enjoyed going to a ball. She would much rather sit somewhere and listen to the music than cavort to it. If tonight went as some of the entertainments in the past month, she'd meet a great many people, some of whom were related to Michael. Some of them would attend their wedding. Some of them might possibly make judgments as to whether she was good enough to become the Countess of Westcott. If they knew her true feelings about the matter, there was every possibility they'd be shocked. After all, who wouldn't want to be a countess? She didn't. The major domo was in the foyer, but there was no sign of Jeremy. To her surprise, Michael's carriage had already arrived. No one was inside, which meant that he was probably waiting for her in the drawing-room. She turned and walked in that direction, but was sidetracked by voices coming from Hamilton's study. Rather than interrupt the 2 men, she hesitated in the hallway, trying to decide if she should wait in the drawing-room or go back to the foyer. Michael's words made the decision for her. She remained where she was. "This inspection was answer enough for me. The horses will be sold, as will all the furnishings. I've plans for the house, too." "If that's the way you feel, then of course it's the right decision. I doubt that Eleanor will have the same opinion, however. She has an idiotic attachment to the Hearthmere bloodline. I trust that you leave such matters to my discretion." "You have to understand," Hamilton said, "that it is her home. Hearthmere means a great deal to her." "That's strictly emotion talking, but I don't expect any less from a woman. I don't want to be bothered by property in Scotland, since I have no intention of ever travelling there. I've already found a man I'm going to send to appraise the furniture. He'll deal with the staff as well. As soon as we're married, I'll finalise."